You're watching Bet Rivers Pro Football Weekly on the Bet Rivers Network.
Welcome, everybody, to the latest edition of Bet Rivers Pro Football Weekly, along with two-time Super Bowl champion Brandon Stokley. I'm Adam the Bull, and a lot to get to. Week number 12 in the National Football League. We'll give you our best bets of the week, and we'll see how we do, and we'll see how you do following along. Brandon, how are you today?
Doing great. You know, ready for another great week of NFL football. Excited about that, man. I mean, before we know it, it's going to be playoff time here. So it's getting exciting. It's getting exciting. It's getting more fun as we get closer to the end of the season.
No doubt about it. And I wanted to start with a game involving the local team where I am, and that's the Cleveland Browns. The Browns stink. The Raiders stink. But fans are excited here in Cleveland for two reasons. Unfortunately, it's not the record of the team. They're 2-8. But you've got two huge storylines when it comes to the Browns. Number one, Myles Garrett going for the sack record in the National Football League. The record is 22.5. He has 15 sacks with 7 to go, including 10 in the last 3 weeks. And then, of course, Shedeur Sanders, who you know well, obviously, as he played in your state. And now he's getting his first NFL start after coming in the second half against the Ravens. And before we make our picks for this game, because we've both got picks in this game, I wanted your thoughts on those two things first, Brandon. First of all, what are your expectations for Shedeur Sanders?
I think, like with any young quarterback, a later round pick, there's going to be some struggles. And, you know, you got to give him some time to see if he can develop because you need answers in Cleveland before you move on to next year and eventually, you know, try to find a quarterback. Shedeur, the one negative from his college, from playing in college here at CU, he held the ball too long, took too many negative plays.
Yeah. And
you can't take those 15, 20-yard sacks in the NFL. You got to take care of the football. You got to stay on schedule. You got to process things. You got to do things quickly. So, you know, as the game slows down for him, hopefully, as he gets more experience, you'll see him hopefully get better at that.
And now I wanted your thoughts. We go from a guy who's playing his first start to a guy who's a longtime veteran in the league. As someone who played many years in the NFL and played with and against many great defensive players, what do you think about the way Myles Garrett is playing right now, despite being on a bad team, having 15 sacks in 10 games so far this year?
Just remarkable. And, you know, you look at their defense, and there's one player that you look at and you say, we got to stop this guy. We got to slow this guy down. We're going to chip him. We're going to double team him. We're going to do whatever it takes, but we're not going to let him disrupt our offensive game plan. And he still goes out there and gets it done. So just remarkable what he's been doing, you know, so far. And, you know, like I said, I mean, he's the first thing that an offensive coach talks about in that Wednesday game plan meeting.
The Raiders, while nobody is Myles Garrett, the Raiders have one of the best pass rushers in the league as well in Max Crosby. And so, you know, we'll see. Both of these teams are terrible on the offensive line. So you'd think both Myles Garrett and Max Crosby would pile up some sacks in this one. In fact, overall, both offenses are pretty awful, Brandon. These are two of the worst offensive teams in the league. But you like one of them, and you're picking – who you got?
I'm picking the Raiders in this one. Give me the Raiders with the more seasoned quarterback there. You know, Shedeur's making his first start, a lot of pressure, spotlight on him. Didn't look very good in relieving Dylan Gabriel there last week. So both these teams aren't very good, like you're saying, Adam. And but I'm gonna pick. Give me the Raiders though. I think the Raiders are at home, aren't they?
Raiders at home. They're laying 4 points. Yeah.
The Raiders. Yep.
So I'm going heads up with you on this, and here's the thing. This is the first time all season, and again, I work in Cleveland. I have picked against the Browns every single week this year. And for the first time, and I've been right, obviously 8 out of 10, but for the first time this year, I'm picking the Browns not only to cover, but to win outright. And here's why. Not that I think Shedeur Sanders is going to have a huge game, but I will say this, just for the limited he played, if nothing else, I think he's not afraid to throw the ball down the field, and Dylan Gabriel was unwilling to throw the ball down the field, which I think opens it up a little for the running game, which is the Browns' strength if they have any with Quinshon Judkins. I also think that even though the game's in Vegas, there's going to be a ton of Browns fans there and a ton of Shador fans there. And so I think they'll have a good presence, so it won't be much of a home field advantage. And I just think in the end, the Browns offense stinks, the Raiders offense stinks, the Raiders defense stinks, but there's one unit that's actually good, and that's the Browns defense. So I like, not only do I like the Browns, but I like the under 36.5 because I don't think these teams will score. I'll be shocked if these teams combine for 30, let alone 36.5.
Yeah, you make a lot of sense there. You got me second guessing my pick. The Raiders were so bad last week. I mean, they were so bad.
Yeah.
And you're right. If there's one good side of the football, it is the Browns defense. So we'll see. Under might be the play.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the next game on the docket because there's plenty of good ones. I want to talk about the Chiefs and the Colts. I got a pick in this one, and I know you stayed away from this one. I really like the Chiefs this week, which you might say is weird because the Chiefs aren't playing particularly well. And the Colts have been the much better team this year, and yet the Chiefs are a 3.5-point favorite. But in the last couple of years, when the Chiefs have struggled at times, every time they went to a game where it was like, all right, this is it. You got to win this one or you're in serious. Now, obviously, the Chiefs are in big trouble in terms of the division, but they're still in pretty good shape to make the playoffs. But they got to win this game. And in the end, in a big spot like that, even though the Colts have been the better team, I'm going to go with the Chiefs at home in a spot like that. So I'd rather it be 3 than 3.5, but I'll lay the 3.5 with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I like that one. Playing at home, their back's against the wall. I mean, they lost last week. They're against the Broncos. They're 5-5. AFC West, I think that's definitely over with for them. I don't see them being able to overtake the Broncos or even the Chargers if the Broncos stumble a little bit. So,
right.
But this is usually when they're at their best. So we'll see.
Is everybody going nuts about the Broncos right now?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. What a win for them against the beating the Chiefs. It was at home. A lot of talk, a lot of build up going into that game, and the Broncos delivered. Once again, they find a way to win a close football game.
That's amazing. The Broncos are having one of their best seasons in a long time. The Colorado Avalanche have one of the best records in the NHL. We know the Nuggets are fantastic and always have a chance to win a championship as long as Jokic is there. And then the Rockies, which are the opposite.
Don't talk about the Rockies.
Leave them out. I wonder, could the other three?
Your guy. We hired your guy. He's been in football for 10 years. And now, let's bring Moneyball back, right?
I wonder if the other three teams in Denver could beat the Rockies at baseball. That's the question. I don't know. All right, I'll stop picking on the Rockies because everything else is good in Denver. We picked one. We already looked at one game with two terrible teams, the Browns and the Raiders. Let's look at another game with two terrible teams. That's the Falcons and the Saints. This game in New Orleans, but you like the road team here.
I do. I like the Falcons. I know Penix Jr. is going to be out. Kirk Cousins is going to be, coming back and being the starter. I just think I like their talent. I think Kirk, having a little bit of time off there is going to play a good football game. I just believe in Atlanta a little bit more now. They were terrible, and they've been terrible pretty much all year. Have they packed it in? They 1, 2, 3 Cancun in it, or are they going to show up and continue to play? I think they're going to show up and show some heart and go out there. And I'm going to go with the team with the most talent, and that's the Falcons.
Yeah, they've lost 3. They've lost 5 in a row. The last 3 against a good Patriot team, a good Colt team, and a surprising Panther team. They've lost those 3 games by a total of 10 points. So it's not like they've gotten blown out these last few games. It's just, they beat the Bills, and they haven't been able to do anything since then. They've been 0-5.
Yeah, they look great against the Bills at home, and we haven't seen that since.
Nope. All right, one of the greatest rivalries in all the NFL, the Eagles and the Cowboys in Dallas. The Cowboys played a good game against the Raiders, as you talked about the other night. Meanwhile, the Eagles have been struggling. There's issues with A.J. Brown. The Cowboys are at home. They're getting 3.5, and you think they're going to win or just cover?
It wouldn't surprise me if they win, and I'm shocked I'm saying this because 4 or 5 weeks ago, whenever the Broncos played them, their defense was so bad. I mean, They couldn't tackle. It was like they were playing two-hand touch. They were awful. And you got to give Jerry some credit here. Going out there and picking up a couple defensive guys at the trade deadline. They've gotten healthy. And offensively, with Pickens and C.D. Lamb and then Javonte Williams, the running back, having a great year. they haven't missed much of a beat. So, but defensively, they've gotten much better since those trades, and then also since they've gotten healthier. So, I'm going to go with the home team getting the points. I can't believe I'm picking the Cowboys in this one, but I am.
I know. I'm kind of leaning with you on the Cowboys too. I would take the 3.5 because I could see the Eagles, pulling out a 3-point win at the end. But with that extra half point, I kind of like Dallas as well. And I should clarify. I said the Eagles are struggling. I should have said they're struggling on offense. They're not. I mean, they've won 4 in a row. The defense is playing well, but their offense, outside of that Giants game where they scored a ton of points late, their offense has really been scuffling. But the defense plays so well that even against the Lions last week, you would think you need to score a lot of points to beat the Lions. But they only scored 16, but it was enough.
Yeah, their defense is playing great right now.
Yeah. All right, we got 2 more games to get to. One that I got to pick on, and one that you've got to pick on. These games involve 3 of the 4 teams from the AFC North. 2 of the 4, excuse me. I'll start with the Bengals. The Patriots are playing the Bengals, and when the week started, this would have either been a stay away or a Patriots. But I believe Joe Burrow is going to play this week. Now, I know the Bengals' problem has been their defense. They've lost all these games because of their defense, not because of their offense. Joe Flacco didn't play great this past week, but outside of that, he's played very well. But I think if Joe Burrow does play and he's fully practiced the last 2 days, I got to believe that at the very least the Bengals will keep this game close. It's the one thing, if the crowd will be into it because Joe's back. There'll just be a new level of energy. I know that Jamar Chase is not playing, which is obviously a big deal. But I think in the end, I think the Patriots probably win the game, but I think it'll be very close. And I'll take as bad as the Bengals have been on defense. I will always take 6 points with Joe Burrow at home. I don't care who they're playing. So I'll take the Bengals +6 in this one.
Yeah, I think not having Jamar, obviously,
big
not
deal.
Ideal for him, but you still got T. Higgins. I don't know. That's one I'd stay away from.
Yeah, it probably is better off being
there. Well, what will he look like? He hadn't played in a long time, so
it's been a while.
The game is better when he's healthy and playing. So
that's right. All right, final game. Of course, we got to end it with your favorite team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They came through for you last week. This week they're in Chicago against the Bears, and they're a 2.5-point underdog. You like them to win outright, I assume?
I do. I mean, just give me Steelers. I mean, I don't know why. Even if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play, I don't know what his situation is right now when we're taping this. But hey, I'm taking them with Mason Rudolph or Aaron Rodgers. I'm still not a big believer in Chicago. And so I know this game's on the road for Pittsburgh, but give me the Steelers.
Yeah, it does look like Mason Rudolph's going to play in this game instead of Rodgers. No, I think Jalen Warren's probably going to be out, but I would still that one's a stay away from me. But if I had to pick, I would be with you on the Steelers because I don't trust the Bears either. They're too inconsistent. All right, those are the picks for week number 12 in the National Football League. Thanks to Tim and Alex for producing today. Thanks all of you for watching and listening. For 2-time Super Bowl champion Brandon Stokley, I'm Adam the Bull. We'll talk to you next time on Bet Rivers Pro Football Weekly.
Thanks for watching Bet Rivers Pro Football Weekly on the Bet Rivers Network.